When Clarke passed away in 1957, it's really funny thinking back on it. You go from 1945, the end of the war, to 1957, 12 years. When they originally got it going in 1932 to 39, it was only 7 years. The trail was almost absolutely complete, but not permanent, in 7 years. But in the 12 years after World War II, it was still just a dream. Things had changed so much politically. People had changed so much in the society and the industrial age and the rebuilding of America and coming back from war and reestablishing itself, that it took them 12 years to get half as much as they had previously in 7 years. When Mr. Clarke passed on, my dad picked up the baton and just worked and worked and worked. That's where I came into play. That's where my family came in, my brothers and sisters and I. We just started helping my dad because that was his dream. He had to keep it going. They had done too much. They had spent too many years, fought too many battles to let the PCT die.
All our lives, we've wanted to see what's over the next hill, to trail into the high country with never a bit of backtracking.
Don's horse Traveler, he's a big strawberry roan. He'd like to chase bears. He would tree 'em just like a dog. He'd go after 'em.
Many are the hours that we have ridden in silent awe as we look on nature's wonders. No sound breaks the stillness except the dull thud of the horse's feet, an occasional bridle chain tinkling, and the creak of saddle leather. We have a lot of fun when people we meet ask us where we're going or where we rode in from. I just say Canada or Mexico in Korean. You may think one would get tired of so much scenery day after day, but June and I will never get tired of the outdoors, the scenery, or the clean mountain air out here. We may get bone weary and tired from pushing so hard to make a schedule, but not of the scenery, horseback riding, or outdoor life. We ride along sections of trail in the fog that would scare a person if the fog suddenly vanished and you could see how far down it really was. June's horse has been down twice in the last 2 days, once on a slick rock and once on a slick clay. We dreamed of riding this trail for many years before we were able to do so. Thousands of others have the same dreams and never get around to it, but the dreams are sweet just the same.
Golly, after 5 months and a week, under the skies anxious to release the burden of snow, we reached the Canadian border at 10:30 on this day, September 25th, 1959.
Thousands of people worked on establishing the trail over the years. Hundreds and hundreds of volunteers. But very few people dedicated their total lives to it. Clarke did, my dad did. I can't think of too many other people that I can actually think of that dedicated 100% of their lives to making the PCT work. I'm sure there are, but most people have a job. My dad tried to make camping and association with the trail his livelihood so that he could keep it going. But as he was working with the Y, he was trying to stay with the Y, he was trying to stay with camping, he was trying to refigure out how he could keep the torch running, to keep the ball, to keep the PCT alive. So he developed the Pacific Crest Trail Club. He developed the Camp Research Foundation. He started magazine after magazine. First one I believe was Western Camping Magazine. Everything was dedicated to trying to find a way to rebuild the trail. Everything that we did was help Dad. It was just, I would go to school, 8 years old, come home, sit in front of the fireplace, fold and gather magazines. Just hour after hour, collating magazines. She's just being pulled across. And my brother would be sitting next to me, and my sister, when she became old enough, would be over in the corner. We had what we'd call the, the saddle. He had an old stapler, which we used to hand staple all the magazines together. And it wasn't slave labor. We did a chore. We did chores around the house. We worked on the trail. We worked on the magazines. We worked on trying to keep the dream alive. Since I can earliest remember, it's been the trail. And we'd go out and play. We'd come back in. It was and both, not either or. We worked, we played. It was not all work, it was not all play. But as a young kid growing up, it sure felt like it. It sure felt like it was all work. He did whatever he could do. He drove to Los Angeles, working the night shift at the LA Times, being a topographer, layout person because of his printing background, because of the mimeographing that he had done with the Kinney Knights and all, and because of the promotions he'd done with the YMCA. The LA Times just snapped him up. But he'd work graveyard there, and then he would come home, get a nap, and work PCT in the house. And that's where we have pictures of the big grasshopper in the house he built, where we took up the entire one-car garage to put the printing press in, to print the Western Camping Magazine in. We printed every edition of Western Camping Magazine, every edition of Camp Director's Digest, and every PCT quarterly was printed in our home, gathered in our home, stapled in our home, trimmed in our home, folded, collated, put in the envelopes,